Street, the title says you're doing a review on Death March to the Parallel World, but you played the song to Sword on a Line. Have you clickbait?
My love is hot.
Hey Vsauce, Michael here, and welcome back to another video. Today, we're doing another one of these anime reviews. I know I said I'm gonna do it every week, and it might be almost a year. And here's the second episode. Anyways, today I'm gonna be doing a review on Sword Art Online Part 2, also known as Death March to the Parallel World. Now you're gonna be like, hey Street, you're kind of being mean, man. I mean, I know the anime might be very similar to SAO, but I don't think it's SAO, dude. I think it's an anime of its own. I get where you're coming from, and I can totally agree with you. I can totally agree with you when you say that it's an anime of its own, and I can totally understand when you say it's a genre and not just a type of anime anymore, because there have been so many. I can agree when you say there's Log Horizon and Axel World and many different anime which take you to a parallel world, such as ReZero and whatnot. But there are just too many similarities here, and I don't think there's like a trope for parallel world / video game anime yet, and just because they tried to do it in this anime, I felt like it isn't what it could have been. Much like SAO. Now, they've done a lot of things different in this anime right off the bat. The main character, much like many of the other anime in this genre, quotations needed, isn't an angsty teen who's just a shut-in and a social outcast and does nothing but video game all day, right? Right off the bat, it's a working class citizen, it's a programmer who's debugging games, and apparently he works himself too much, and right off the bat, the character seems different from others. And the first episode is focused more on his life than his, let's say, video gaming career, to lack of a better term. And that is different from many of the other anime that we've seen so far, except for maybe Axel World. But animes such as Log Horizon and SAO, we really didn't know much, if anything at all, about their lives, about their real lives, until later on in the anime. And in Log Horizon, we never knew what was going on in the main character's life. And that's one thing that I kind of like, I kind of dig about this anime. But it's like, once he gets sucked into the video game, everything just goes downhill from there. So like in the beginning of the episode, it's a programmer in his 30s, I think he's 29 years old, and he's like stressed out. He like works too much, calls it a death march, and he like explains how there are like bad working habits in Japan, and how the people sleep after working for 4 or 5 days straight in their workplace, and so on and so forth. And he does the same thing in the first episode of the anime. And apparently, this was not made clear. Apparently, he's sucked into the video game, or maybe he's just having a really good dream where the two games that he's working on as a programmer were merged together, and he was sucked into these games. Now, this guy was working on a way to make one of the video games easier for newer players, and so he made this overpowered ability that lets people shower meteoroids from the sky and kill anyone for new people. And apparently he gets that ability, and he uses that ability, and I don't want to spoil much of it, but let me tell you that the main character is very overpowered, and I feel like it wasn't handled very well. Now, the animation of the anime is pretty good. I'd say it's decent. It's not bad, it's not that great, it's pretty good. The music so far is not very interesting or something to really look out for. I feel like it's subpar at best. And the storyline, well, it's just generic parallel world harem anime, and that's one thing I do not like about these kind of anime. Much like SAO, I feel like this anime is going to develop into a harem, because there are a lot of similarities with SAO. For example, the main character, when he goes into the game, turns into a 15-year-old, much like Kirito. He wears black clothes, much like Kirito. He surrounds himself around many women, much like Kirito, and he is overpowered, much like Kirito. Well, Kirito later on in the anime, and this guy is overpowered from the beginning. But I don't know, I have to watch more of the episodes to find out what's happening and whether I want to drop it or continue watching. Since this is the honest anime review, I had to give my honest opinion on the anime with no biases at all, and that is it. I feel like it is another SAO, and hopefully they do things that SAO did wrong right, and if they do, this is probably gonna be one of the few anime that I watch this season, because really there aren't many great anime this season, and it's kind of sad, but that's just life, I guess. And yeah.
Bless your face. If you sneeze during this video, bless you. Toby out.
Subscribe.